Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, and welcome to Wednesday's YouTube Live. I'm just looking at the live comments there, and I love the conversation that Anita is having with June regarding her typing skills. Don't you just love it when a load of rubbish comes out when you type something? And I was wondering why Anita was too tight. But then she says she was too right. So that made a bit more sense. Love it. Oh dear. Right. Okay. So that's made me laugh. So that's good. And hopefully this will make you smile as well. So I'm going to be using, for the next couple of times, actually, I'm going to be using some dies from the new John Next Door collection. And today I'm going to be using the Firth Park tag collection because I think there's some really lovely, I just love these edges that are on here, really, really pretty. And so I'm going to team that with some of the flowers and a bit of everything, really. So that's what we're going to do today. So without further ado, let us make a start. And the colours that I'm going to choose today, I'm going to use the 7x7 card blank. I'm going to be using white card, azalea pink and magnolia pink, probably the other way around. I'm not quite sure, but whatever. That's the colours that I'm going to be using today. I think they go really nicely together, and I thought that's what we would do. So without further ado, let's just prepare my card blank first. I want to just do that. For that, I'm going to take the white and the, I ought to make sure what colour that is. Wait a minute. I can't remember what colour it is. Let's just have a look. Let's have a look and remind ourselves. That's azalea. So azalea pink, that is what I'm going to be using first and foremost. So I'm just going to double measure my card just to double check. And if I make that then 16.5 by 16.5, I should be okay. So let's get my card here. So let's pop that over and just cut out because I want to make the mat and layers for it first. So 16.5, in we go, and turn that round, and 16.5 there as well. So that's my first layer, and then I'm going to put one slightly smaller at 16 by 16. So just pop that onto there as well. So that's going to be my first layer. Oops, couldn't get hold of it. And I'm going to already stick that down so that that's ready to go. So I saw that a lot of people, thank you very much, have ordered some of the lovely new collection. So hopefully some of you have already received them, and others of you, they are winging their way to you as we speak. So soon you will be able to take these and have a play with yourself. If you haven't got yours already and you would still like some, they are over on the as seen on TV bit at the moment. That's where the whole collection is, rather than on the Facebook Live section of the website. So I've just left everything over there so that people can see, because as I said, I will be using these for a little while because they're just yummy. We like yumminess, don't we? So there is our card blank with our first two layers. So one of azalea pink and one of white. So that is going to be our basis there. Pop that to one side. So now I'm going to take my Firth Park, and I'm going to be using this one. And so it's the sort of square tag as such, but it comes with a square which looks like a square, whoops, on that side, but when you actually cut it out, it's slightly wonky, which is really funky. I think it gives it a really nice finish, something a bit different, which we like. So I have already cut out those two and ready to go, and then you will be able to see quite what I mean by it being a little bit wonky, which as I said, gives a fun element to it. So this one I've cut out in the magnolia pink, and this one just in white, because I want to pop them something like that when I go to pop them on my actual card. So I pop that to one side because that's all ready to go as well, and we don't need that one. What we do need is this one here. So now I'm going to pop that through my machine, and I'm going to cut out 2 of them, so I can just about get them through on here, I think. So I'm just going to, so this was the same piece that we used, pop that there. This is the same piece that we used to cut out the back there, so that should be left over from my A4 piece. Now when I'm going to put this through my machine, I'm going to turn it round. So if this is my die plate here, I'm going to make sure that when I put this through, I'm not going to offer it to the machine that way round, because the cutting edge, the bit that we really need to worry about, is the delicate cutting of these 2 edges here. So if I turn that around, then the roller as it comes through has got much more time to cut those out, rather than just a little bit if I go around like that. So top tip, if you think that you might be having trouble getting any die out, is to just make sure that you're going through your die cutting machine with your pattern as much as you possibly can, getting as much of the roller pressure as you can. So I'm just gonna, oh gosh, can't pick it up. Just gonna pop that through and cut that one out. So oops. Go. That's one cut out. Take those off. And you can see how well that cuts out beautifully. Isn't it pretty? And these sort of little dots in the middle really lend themselves beautifully to extra embellishments, extra little jewels and things to be stuck on as well, which of course we will do, but we need to cut another one out first. So let me just bash all the bits out, which I did, and then see if we can fit, which I think we can, our second one onto there. So that's all out of an A4 piece of card. I'm turning that round so that we've got maximum area cutting there, and just run that through the machine. There we go. Oh. Here we go. So there's our second one cut out like that. Now I do like one just on its own, but I think that they look fab when there's 2 cut out. Just flick the bits out. That's the easiest way, isn't it? So not a lot of waste from my card there, I think you'll agree. Let me just scoot those little bits to one side. Okay, so I will just check, but I think all of my little tiny bits have all been pushed out. So why I wanted to cut 2 out is because I want to layer one over the other, and then you will see hopefully that this, let's bring it closer, and then you'll be able to see like that, that by putting one on top of the other, you've got that perfect match on all of the corners. They just fit absolutely as if they were made to, perfectly like that, and gives you a lovely square, which I think looks really pretty. So although you may have had a die that initially looked, let me just bring the package in again, you had a die that initially looked as if it was just a, well, not even a square really, just by putting the 2 together, you have got yet another version of this die on itself. So you can make just the tag like that, which is lovely. And I can bring in my slightly wonky square, which I'm going to slightly offset, and pop that into there like that. Or alternatively, like I'm going to do today, we've got one on top of the other, perfectly matches, and then again that on there as well. I think that makes it a really versatile set of dies. I love it. So let's pop these together. So I'm simply going to pop a little bit of glue onto the back of one of them, and then I shall put it onto my card front with some foam as well. So I'm not going to worry about putting any glue over here, obviously, because I'm going to stick it onto there, but we don't need to do all those fussy little bits, which is even better. So just line it up so that it fits absolutely. And as I said, as if it was meant to be, you've got that perfect line up so that these corners match absolutely as if they were always going to work like that. Okay, so then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to apply some foam to the back so that it's raised just a little bit, like so. I should have spaced that evenly, shouldn't I? But I didn't, so it's going to have another one. And that can then go into the middle of my frame. Okay, so I bring in my card frame again. And because I'm going to be, or should we put them on first? No, we can't really, can we? Because I'm going to put those off-centered, I can still put my square so that it is absolutely in the center, because these are off-centered, if you see what I mean. But I could turn it slightly so that it's all a little bit wonky, however you wish. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to pop it slightly to one side. So I'm just twisting it a little bit so that it's on there for me. And then I'm going to take this one because I want to stamp on it on the white. So I'm going to just put in my magnolia pink. But instead of putting it absolutely, I'm going to just put it slightly wonky. Because it's a wonky one anyway, we can go wonky even more so. So that's going to be, again, to one side. I have got a stamp set here. I'm going to pop in to my stamping platform my wonky square. And I just want to check. So before I actually put it in, I just want to check where my stamp is going to go, because we need to make sure that the stamp looks straight, even if all the rest of it isn't, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to go for this stamp, which says for someone special. And I think that I want it sort of, sort of there. Okay, so I'm going to carefully then pick that up, move that to one side, pop that into my corner. As you can see, it looks as if it's slightly wonky, the sentiment, but because we want it to be straight when it's actually on the thing, if you see what I mean. Oh, I know what I mean. I know what I mean. I'm going to take my Versifine Claire in Purple Delight. I'm going to stamp that up. So I think it's always quite a good idea to try and dry run, if you can, your stamp so that you can see that it gets it in the right place. Hopefully, she says. Not that it just moved alarmingly. We shall see. So, that. Bring that back over. Then you can see that when we pop that onto there, we can make sure that it is straight as it goes onto there. So straight as you look at the card, yeah? So let's put that there. I love it when cards just start to look, oh yeah, that's looking all right now. So let's just get that straightish. Yeah, I reckon that's straightish. Okay, so now I'm going to be doing my favourite bit almost, because you know what I'm like, I love flowers. And so I am going to be using the new periwinkle flowers. Now I'm going to be making some of them in the magnolia pink. So again, I've taken off the piece there that I had for my square, and I'm just going to tape that down and put that into place. And I'm going to get my small die set, my small die cutting plates for these. So as you know, they are going to go through my Gemini, but they're the round caliber plates. So I'm going to pop that down onto there. My plate is going to go in that way because I'm using my big machine, small plates. Oh, I hope it makes sense. I'm going to put my plate over the top of that, my metal shim, just to be on a safe side that that's all going to come through okay. It's going to cut out all the lovely stamens in the centre, but for me, I'm not going to use the stamens today. But it just makes sure that they do all come out so that you have that choice if that's what you wish to do. So let me take these off. I just love paper flowers. I love making flowers. Thought you'd like to know that. My favouriteest bit. So, not least for the fact they can all look so different, and we like different. So I will take these out, but I'm not actually going to use them. And these are the little stamens that go with the sets. So, and again, from one die with one cut to be able to cut out something as intricate as that, I think is just amazing, really. Look how thin that is. So I'm not going to use those today, but they are there to, so that's what I like about these flowers. There's so many intricate different ways that you can use them. So I'm going to get myself a spare piece of paper, pop them onto, and I'm going to first of all turn them over to the way. A minute, get them around the right way is the way that I'm going to. That's it. So they're all facing the right way. I'm going to put a little bit of colour on them. So as we did before, do you remember we were doing this just the other day? I'm just going to put a little colour in the centre with a sponge dauber. And I think I'm going to choose... Oh, what colour shall we choose, folks? I don't know whether to go for... I don't think that's going to... Shall we try a milled lavender? I'm not sure if this is going to show very much. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'm doing a darker colour in the middle for my milled lavender. I'm doing it in much the same way as I was doing the chrysanthemums the other day, but difference being we're going to put a bit of ink on the very ends of our petals, but not until I've actually moulded the flower. So I'm just going to put that darker colour in the centre. And it's only, I'm not sure if you can even see it, but it's only, yeah, I think you can. It's only very slightly darker. So it's not a massively difference in colour. Then I'm going to turn them over. And I'm going to spray them with, let's take that out of the way because we don't want that sprayed as well. Spray them with a bit of water so that gives it a better chance of keeping their shape when I've moulded them. Now, if you look at this carefully, you'll be able to see that the die itself has got some little slits, some little cuts in the centre there, and they just allow you to be able to pinch that flower up without any extra machines or anything. You just literally take the edges of each of the petals and then it will just press up like that. So again, very easy to mould. And we like easy things, don't we? So you will get 2 flowers for each size. So we've got a total of 4 flowers with 1 pass of your plates, which again, with these ones, just love that we don't have all this fuffing about with lots of different flowers. Makes sense to me. If you're going to put it through the machine once, you might as well put it through and cut all of it out in one go if you possibly can. Not so sure about that milled lavender, you know. Now that it's soaking in, it's almost non-existent, but we'll still go with that. We'll still go with it. Very, very close shading of it. So just moulding these all up. So again, all of them are exactly the same. They've all got these lovely little slits in there so that it just allows you to mould the petal very, very simply. I said 4, didn't I? I lied. There's 5 flowers. Oh, sorry about that. Was someone yelling at me that there was 5 flowers or not? No. No, you're too busy nattering, aren't you? Too busy nattering to pay any attention to what I'm saying. Right, hold on. Nearly there. So just when they are wet, they are just a little bit more fragile, so you do have to be a bit careful. But if you do want to mould them, ordinarily I would wait for them to dry a bit more, but obviously today we're not going to. But I then have got some little ice cube holders, and I then pop them into there to keep them to set. Do you know what I mean by the silicone type? I'll have to show you another day, but that's where I would put them to hold them and mould them at the same time when they're getting a bit wet. Okay, so we've got them all sitting there nicely. Now, bring them back in and bring in a little bit more of the milled lavender and to the edges, just go round and do those little edges. It just gives them another little bit of dimension. And I do hope that you are able to join me this coming Friday. I'm going to be doing the very last, well, as far as we know, last Fancy Fold Friday. And it's going to be the Fancy Fold to end all fancy folds. And I will be using the, I was going to call it a primrose. It isn't a primrose, is it? The Primula die again. So if you are able to join me at all on that on Friday this week, it would be great. And my moulding mat. So yeah, we're changing format slightly, and we're going with just 2 YouTube sessions. So there will always be a Wednesday, and there will be the Sunday, but we will be going with no more fancy folds. I will be doing the fancy folds, but they will be incorporated with the other cards rather than doing it individually. So, so if you can possibly join me on this Friday, it would be great because it will be the last one. And as I said, it's a bit special. I'm liking it a lot. But I will be using these beautiful periwinkle dies again, and I'll be doing them in a completely different way than we've got them today. So it will be nice for you to be able to see that you can use flowers in different ways as well, other than what one just thought. So just put in a little bit of ink on these. So yeah, it's going to be a funny thing after a year to not do anything on a Friday, or I say not do anything. I will be doing lots of different things. So we've got technique workshops coming up, which is going to be good. And trialing out the first one of those in May. We've also got our ordinary crafty workshops online. And so they will still be happening as well. So loads of things. Loads of things. I'm going to bring that one up a bit more as well. I'm just going to stick these ones together without any colour on there. So just using the glue glaze so that it's the quick grab. Whoops. And this little one here. Not quite sure if I'm going to use the little one. We shall see. We shall see. Just offset the petals slightly. And there we go. So now I'm going to bring back in my lovely card front. And I've already used some of the mini twigs from the new collection as well. And I've cut some of them out. So I'm going to be using these as a little bit of foliage there. Because my flowers are going to go over in this corner. Okay. So we're going to pop our flowers something like that, I think. And then maybe 2 tiddlies on that corner there. Maybe a bit of green can come out better there. So let's pop the green on. Just a little bit. Oh, don't really want to see all the glue, do we? But that will be hidden, so all is well. That one coming out there, and then this little one, I should just poke out a little bit there. So I've got my sort of 3-prong attack, so to speak, there. Then I'm going to take my primroses, and I can pop the glue, whoops, into here. Just set that one down there. Did I say primroses again? Oh, God, I'm going to get the sack. They're not primroses. They're primulas. No, they're not even that. They're periwinkles. God, dear, oh dear. You'd think I'd get the blooming name right, wouldn't you? Periwinkles, periwinkles, periwinkles. There we are. I've said it 3 times. So now it'll be fine. Periwinkles. So pop them there, and I will use my 2 up on here. So 1 and 2. I haven't got any greenery for that. I don't think we want a bit of greenery for those 2 up on that corner. So we're very nearly there. Very nearly there. We want a little bit. It looks just a little bit stark. And so what I want to do for that is to grab myself some jewels. Now, the actual card itself does really lend itself very, very well to having the jewels or pearls or anything like that popped onto these little places where the circles cross each other. I think it really just look lovely like that. However, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to place some of these in random places. Okay, whoops. So I've got these which are different sizes, and I quite like that where they're different sizes. And even down to the tiddly ones, just looks nice to have just a little bit, whoops, of a breakup of it, of the background. So just a few. So again, as I said, you can put it on there. Could put it on there as well, but I think it might be a little bit of an overkill. So I'm not going to do quite that. But even these little ones, it's a bit like splatting something, but with actual gems, which I think looks nice. And I hope you quite like it as well. Oh, sure, I picked up one then. Never mind. Maybe I didn't. I'm trying to put them in a random, well, hardly a pattern, but in random places so that they don't look as if they're in a pattern, so that they do look as if they are all over the place and as if they're just splattered onto there. I think that does look really quite special. So let me lift it up to the camera so that you can see a little bit more. Now, just one more thing I need to do is pop them into the center of these flowers, and I do want to put a little bit of glue glaze in there to grab it first, because otherwise they might not grab very well and we don't want them falling out. So I'll pick a large one for these, pop that into the center, and this one. Are you all holding your breath for me whilst I get them to stay? I was like, you should be. Pretty. Another one over here. And then over here, I'll use the slightly smaller ones. So a little bit of glue glaze in there, just to give it that extra chance of sticking. And one more into there. Just pressing down on it so it, so it stays stuck, but also gives me an extra chance to mould those leaves. And as I said, if we were given the chance to when I've wet them down a bit, if I'd given them the chance to actually set, if you could call it that, they would be really quite firm, and so they would be something very, very much different. So I think, do you like the little bit of sparkle there? I think that looks a bit better to put a little bit of extra, and rather put the sparkle and the gems around the edges, or as I said, you could do, but I think maybe it might look a bit over the top. But you might know someone that just needs a lot of sparkle in their life, and then you definitely need to do it. But I just think it breaks up the background. I tried to put this square onto a 6x6, but it filled the square up too much. And I just wanted to try and find something that hit the happy medium between the two. And so that's what we've got for somebody special. Quite a few people, I think, have got birthdays. I'm not sure if they're watching today. So happy birthday to those people. Jill Howard was one I noticed. And I know I've missed some in the last few days. But maybe this one is for Terry Sayer, who's not feeling very special just at the moment, I don't think. So this one's for you, Terry, if you're watching. So thank you very much for joining me today. I do hope that many of you, and I know many of you, have already got some of these lovely things coming your way anyway. But if there was anyone that hasn't and now feels they can't live without it in their life, pop over to the maximumcrafts.com website, and you will actually find them on the As Seen on TV at the moment, because they've literally just been released. So thank you very much for joining me. If you do have the chance, please join me this coming Friday, which is the 30th of April, which will be my last Fancy Friday. Maybe not forever, but certainly for some time, because we're moving on to slightly different ways of showing you all the new things coming up. And I will also be back this Sunday on May the 2nd, where I will be launching the kit, the monthly card kit for May. So please try and join me if you can on those days. Thank you very much for joining me today, and take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.